Now at 6 on Time Warner Cable News on ABC 45, the head of the National Football League says he's going to personally oversee changes to player conduct policies after admitting he made mistakes in handling a string of domestic violence allegations.
ABC 45.
And thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Sharon Stone. Those stories are coming right up. First, here at 6, meteorologist Doug Lindsay is here. The first check of that weather on the one's forecast, and pretty quiet out there, Doug.
It is quiet a bit.
All right, see you then. Thank you, Doug. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell says he made mistakes in handling recent player discipline cases. The league has been criticized because of domestic violence allegations against several players, including Carolina Panther Greg Hardy. Brad Broders joins us from Bank of America Stadium with details about Goodell's plans to make changes. A 2-year-old child is in critical condition after nearly drowning in a retention pond yesterday. High Point and Guilford County rescuers performed CPR on the scene at Copper Mill Village Apartments. The accident making people wonder if there should be additional safety measures in place to help prevent future tragedy. A neighbor told our photographer the child is a boy who lived in the complex. Police have not yet released any other details. They may be unlikely heroes to some, but 3 Forsyth Correctional Center inmates prove they are deserving of the accolade after their life-saving actions on a Triad interstate. Ed Scannell tells us officials hope the men's efforts will help change attitudes towards some behind bars. Superintendent Witherspoon says their good deed has earned Lewis, Martin, and Wilson time off their sentences. The interim Wake County District Attorney dismissed hundreds of pending cases against Moral Monday protesters. The decision is based on a recent ruling by a Wake County Superior Court judge who said Leonard Beagley's constitutional rights were violated when officers arrested him at the legislative building. He was one of more than 900 protesters arrested last summer outside the state legislature. Attorneys for the protesters were confident the cases would come out in their favor. The DA says the decision to dismiss will apply to all but about 50 cases from 2013, where the circumstances surrounding those arrests were a bit different. A number of issues will figure into decisions North Carolinians will make in the voting booth this November. Time Warner Cable News has been looking into some of those that matter most to various demographics, including our veterans. Some that we spoke to said they're angry about the problems they've had at VA medical centers. Still ahead here at 6 o'clock, the White House announces a new campaign to combat sexual assault on college campuses. We'll tell you how they hope it will make a difference. And later.
I'm meteorologist Doug Lindsay. Moisture pushing to the south, high pressure building in from the north, setting us up for a very good.
Now at 11 on Time Warner Cable News on ABC 45, lawmakers greenlight President Obama's plans to take on and take out ISIS. Find out if that means any changes to previous questions about our troops' involvement. And an old building is getting a new look in Old Salem in the next couple of years. Find out what the institution has planned for a $150,000 grant.
You're watching Time Warner Cable News on ABC 45.
And thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Sharon Stone. Those stories are coming right up. But first, meteorologist Doug Lindsay is here at the first check of your weather on the one's forecast. So Doug, are you thinking we're about done with shower chances for the evening?
You know, I would like to say yes, we are, but as you can see, as we look at Storm Tracker radar, in just a few minutes.
All right, see you then. Thank you, Doug. A 2-year-old nearly drowned this evening after falling into a retention pond. High Point and Guilford County emergency responders were on scene at Copper Mill Village Apartments. Rescuers performed CPR but said they had no response when they took the child to the hospital. They went to High Point Regional first, but then transferred to Brenner Children's Hospital in Winston. A neighbor told our photographer the child is a boy who lives in that complex. However, police have not yet released any other details, including the child's condition. The NFL's PR problem is not getting any better. PepsiCo has joined major sponsors criticizing the league's reaction to domestic violence, including the case involving Carolina Panthers defensive end Greg Hardy. Crisis communications expert Diane Chase says the league can end their problem and possibly lead the way on domestic violence, but she says they need to act quickly.
Just like any business, there needs to be standards of acceptable conduct, and they can come out and be at the forefront of a no-tolerance domestic abuse policy and set guidelines that this is how we will insist our professional players conduct their lives.
The NFL has instituted a domestic violence policy this season. Players are suspended 6 games for a first offense and banned after a second. Also in Washington today, North Carolina Congresswoman Renee Elmers launched a new effort to upgrade the country's aging electric grid. Reporter Jeff Bennett has that story. A building in Old Salem will look new in the next few years thanks to a $150,000 federal grant. Our Katie Husband joins us live from our Triad newsroom with more on how the money will be spent. Katie. Coming up here at 11, the new school year is just underway in our Carolina Minute. Why some students are already saying it's a pain. And right after this quick break.
I'm meteorologist Doug Lindsay. We had a little bit of cloud cover around through the daytime today on Tuesday. That is your weather on the Ones forecast. Sharon, back to you.
Looks good. Thank you, Doug. And stay with us. Your sports is up next tonight. Plus, find out why Guilford County educators are getting rock star treatment. We'll be right back. And our sports director, Mike Solarte, here now at the wrap-up. Mike, we really hear Coach K, I guess, fire back tonight.
Yeah, it's not often that Coach Mike Krzyzewski has a bee in his bonnet, but he certainly had one on Thursday. Carolina Panthers, incidentally, Sharon, they're getting ready to play the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday night. On Wednesday, there were 11 players that did not take part in practice. On Thursday, that number went from 11 to 3, so they're getting a little healthier as they get ready for a national spotlight game. And many of the players that we spoke to on Thursday relieved that they had a little sense of a direction now and what the team has done with Greg Hardy. And obviously we've been covering that story extensively over the past couple of days. They now know what's happening. They can focus on football.
Right. I know a lot of people have been looking for that. Is this a winnable game for them?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Pittsburgh is susceptible.
All right. Thanks, Mike. More news after this break here on Time Warner Cable News on ABC 45. And if you play, get your tickets out. Your live North Carolina Education Lottery drawing is coming up. Now here's tonight's Carolina Minute. A 12-hour urgent care facility will replace the VA Medical Center Emergency Department in Fayetteville. We're told a lack of doctors is the reason behind this temporary switch. All ambulances will be redirected to local hospitals, which has some veterans worried about their care. A reported sexual assault that shook the campus of Appalachian State University this month was fake. The university sent an updated crime alert to students this week. The sexual assault was reported to have happened August 29th in a wooded area behind the athletic complex, but police say no assault took place. Students may be carrying too much weight in their backpacks. Today, Cape Fear Community College students weighed their backpacks to bring awareness about the dangers of carrying too much. It's recommended school backpacks weigh only 10% of the person's weight. Otherwise, it can cause damage to the back as well as bad posture. Well, the Safe Schools Task Force met in Raleigh today to talk about gang violence in schools. Members say gangs are present in all counties in the state, with the youngest member they've encountered being 6 years old. The task force was originally made to prevent school shootings in the wake of Sandy Hook in 2012. They say gang activity has become as big of a threat as any other.
Gangs.
Sound school.
Have no allegiance or alliance with anybody.
The task force wants a zero-tolerance policy in schools. They say recently in New Hanover County, something as simple as gang graffiti written in pencil led to a gang fight involving outsiders coming into the school. All right, when we come back, we'll look at the top concerns voters in several demographics are most focused on heading into the upcoming election.
5.
As election season ramps up, North Carolina voters are looking at the issues they find most important to the November midterms. Experts say voter participation for the 18 to 25-year-old demographic is on the rise. Brianna Walden takes a look at what matters most to them. And after this quick break, Doug is right back with the last check of your weather. Stay with us. And before you head off to bed, let's get a last check of your forecast now with Doug Lindsay.
Thank you so much. Things looking a little interesting out there. Storm track.
It was the party of the year for Guilford County Schools today. The district held its annual celebration of excellence at Page High School to recognize extraordinary staff members, teachers, principals, and other guests walked a red carpet while students cheered them on.
Kids are, how talented they are.
The district named Eileen Cerencion as the 2014 Teacher of the Year. The Charlotte Motor Speedway Auto Fair is underway in Concord. More than 100,000 car enthusiasts from across the country are expected to spend millions of dollars trading cars, parts, and merchandise at this event. Scott Cooper with Charlotte Motor Speedway tells us what visitors can expect.
We've got everything from Lamborghinis to Porsches to Maseratis to Ferraris. We've even got a Bugatti. And we've even got a 1966 Aston Martin that looks just like the one that Sean Connery drove during some of the James Bond movies back in the 1960s.
The auto fair runs through Sunday. Advance tickets for the North Carolina State Fair go on sale October 16th. Fairgoers will be able to buy tickets at 9 different retail locations. All locations will accept cash, Visa, and MasterCard. Advance tickets will also be available online. The State Fair will take place October 16th to the 26th at the State Fairgrounds. Find more information on our website, twcnews.com. Jimmy Kimmel Live is up next.